You also said once that the Earth may spin on its axis, but the world revolves around money. And that means, a lot of people don't always think about this, is that populism, nationalism, isolationism, corruption, trade wars, military wars, health crisis, inequality, economic hardship, they're all connected to money. And I think a lot of people don't see that sometimes.
Yeah, because like anyone today watching here, you got your own issues in your own life. You've got your own sort of basic budgets or desires for the future. I mean, you're basically, we focus oftentimes on ourselves. I mean, that is a reality, and we also can help other people and all of that, but there's that base kind of survival instinct that we have, ourselves, our families, and then so it goes out from there. And one of the things that I believe has happened as a result of this particular phase that we're in of permanent distortion, where central banks have just gone so just crazy off the rails in terms of fabricating money. Now for a minute they're trying to say, well, we'll try to stop inflation now, but is that we have had so much additional unrest in the world in terms of civil unrest. One of the stats that I have in my book is that in 2019, before the pandemic, before this additional excess of money was created to basically dislocate the economy from the markets by more, it was the year of the most civil uprisings in the world ever. And we're talking about comparing that to things like the Roman invasion, and there's all sorts of things over time. But in terms of the number of spots, the number of topics, developing countries, etc., throughout the world, there was more events of civil unrest than there had been historically beforehand. And then, of course, we had the pandemic, and sort of no one was doing very much of anything, and that sort of put a little bit of a cap on that. But one of the reasons I think that happened, and one of the reasons that politically countries are swinging from left to right, conservative to liberal. I mean, there was a lot of political revolving doors happening. Whoever was in power was pretty much going to basically be kicked out at the next election. And that's because people in general are so economically strangled that they didn't like whoever was in office. They just wanted somebody else. And so that revolving door of left, right, conservative, liberal, and it doesn't even matter what you call it in whatever country, but that idea of that switch, we just want someone else, that accelerated. So all of these things I accelerated because people in general were just facing, and still are, this condition of just being, of just watching markets, of watching what politicians say, whatever party, of just watching what's going on around them that's being driven by ultimately a fabrication of what was $41 trillion worth of just money out of nowhere from all the central banks in the world over this time period, and just feeling really disconnected for very good reason from all of that stuff. And when you're disconnected from what you are being told is what's happening around you, like the markets are going up or like these positive things are happening outside of your own purview, it makes you feel very angry. It makes you not want your politicians. It makes you not want your country. It makes you want to just protect yourself. So even that idea of nationalism, you want to, and trade wars, that's all about sort of the political story that's attached to just protecting your family, your home,
right,
and whatever that means.
Right. And that probably goes into another great line where you said money doesn't just drive a wedge between different classes, races, genders, and countries. You say it is the wedge. That's kind of heavy to think about. Like you're saying, it's actually that does it.
Yeah.
Now maybe people can't express that. Maybe they don't always feel that. But ultimately, it does come down to money.
Yeah. It does, and money and not class. And the way you actually read that line, Brian, I actually hear more from the words I wrote by the way you just said that. So thank you for that. So what I mean is that going back to that idea that money is a virus, that money is basically a sort of organism that is in the way of the real economy, most people's experiences, and the behavior of the market. I'm not talking about people who are peripherally invested and are have retirements, and that's just a sort of small participation. I'm talking about the drivers, the companies, the funds, the individuals that are effectively most benefiting from the fact that money is between real people and them. And it's almost like money is just it's a divide in of itself, and that's how I talk about it. So that's why it is that wedge, because it has that kind of power. And again, particularly when it's artificially created for one side versus another, then that wedge just like, it just gets so much wider.
I'm looking for partners, collaborators, colleagues who want to join forces with me around the globe and create real value, generational wealth, and financial freedom for everyone else around the world. Get involved in the cryptocurrency markets, get involved in the NFT markets. This is your moment. Life all comes down to a few moments. Don't let this pass. Now it's not too late. Next year's going to be too late. Ultimately, this is about freedom. That's the way I see it. This is about giving power back to the people and enabling billions of people worldwide to use the financial markets to improve their lives and those of their friends and their families and their communities. Honestly, I think it's a violation of human rights not to allow people basic access to financial services. Because right now people are being kept in the dark, they're being robbed of education, and it's a travesty. And so I'm looking for people that want to join me and be a part of this solution. And that all happens inside the DeFi Academy. The gains my students are making are absolutely amazing. Double, triple-digit gains in the first month alone. That's amazing. This will change your life. Now is the time to get involved. I'm going to tell you exactly how my students in my academy made money in the last 30 days. I'm talking about real trading results. And let me just whet your appetite a little bit. Let me hit you with some numbers. I'm talking Brendan from New Zealand is up 68.77% on the month. Steve from Europe up 83%. Albert in Singapore up 169.9% on one single trade. I got Susan up 153% on her call options alone, also rocking 139% returns and 442% returns as well on individual trades. These are people that are changing their financial future in the last 30 days, but it's based on trading discipline.
I've graduated over 500 students from inside my academy from over 54 countries around the world. It's amazing. When it comes to crypto, DeFi, and blockchain, we love this space. We truly believe it's the future. This is down to our core. It's authentic to what we're doing, and everybody can tell through the camera because you can't make this stuff up.
If you're watching me now, wherever you are, I implore you, take 60 seconds right now and join my academy. Apply today. Now you've got a chance. Life all comes down to a few moments. What are you going to do? What's the choice that you're going to make?